Every day you keep me safe and warm and loved and fed. But today's your special day, it was my turn instead. So I got up at 5 a.m., I've been working hard since then. Some things I didn't get quite right, next year I'll try again. Just for you I did my best to cut my own hair. Some places came out pretty good and some are kind of bare. I washed all your nicest clothes, but the washer wasn't free. So I used the dishwasher, pretty smart of me. Remember, no one's perfect, every kid has faults. Remember, it's the thought that counts more than the results. My heart was in the right place even though I did it wrong. It was all to say on Father's Day, my love for you is strong. I vacuumed really quietly, I didn't use the power. I cleaned your dirty iPad screen, I held it in the shower. I painted all the ceilings, it was easy with the mop. Now the carpet's painted too with cool rainbow drops. I answered all your work emails with just leave me alone. And we gave a prince from Scandinavia a loan. I watered all the houseplants with the garden hose. I forgot to turn it off, sometimes that's how it goes. Remember, no one's perfect, every kid has faults. Remember, it's the thought that counts more than the results. My heart was in the right place even though I did it wrong. It was all to say on Father's Day, my love for you is strong. Your car's shiny inside and out with lots of olive oil. Who knew that oatmeal splatters up so high and far on boil? I tried to make you orange juice, but I spilled it on the floor. I tried to fry you bacon, we don't have a stove no more. Since you can't really cook this week, I called the pizza place. I emptied out the fridge and freezer so there's enough space. They should be here anytime, 2 dozen pizza pies. I paid with your credit card, I hope that you're surprised. Remember, no one's perfect, every kid has faults. Remember, it's the thought that counts more than the results. My heart was in the right place even though I did it wrong. It was all to say on Father's Day, my love for you is strong. My heart was in the right place even though I did it wrong. It was all to say on Father's Day, my love for you is strong. It was all to say on Father's Day, my love for you is strong.
So happy Father's Day out there to all the fathers, and when your kids decide to water all the houseplants with the garden hose and forget to turn off the hose, remember they did so with love. So happy Father's Day. Before we go on our bottom of the hour break, we have Joe on the line. We'll get Derek to pull up. Joe, he has some candidates he wants to talk about that's running for state rep. How you doing, Joe?
Good. How about you today?
I am doing well.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, since you dealt with a candidate at the top of the hour, I wanted to, and since you're a pastor, bring up the Black Robe Regiment. The British feared them because they were preaching for freedom and revolution, and now the left fears real Christians and the current Black Robe Regiment of pastors who are running.
First of all, John, I'm going to cut you off right there. I want to thank you for that because I am a member of the Black Robe Regiment.
That's good. That's good. There's Jeff Noble, who's a pastor. He's running. Pat Colbeck mentioned him. He's running for state rep from the Canton area. There's Pastor Jeff Jones, who's going to take on Debbie Dingle for Congress. You could go to Jeff Jones, 4 Congress.com. Look him up. Help him out. Support him. This is a weird election year. Whether you like or hate Trump and Hillary, it's going to be weird. We got a chance to steal this seat this time.
Yep. You know, this, I was telling Wendy earlier, this election reminds me a lot of the election. I don't know if you know me. I'm really interested in American history. Reminds me a lot of the election of 1824. That election was not won by the popular vote. It was not won by the Electoral College. That was a real bizarre year. This will go in the records as being just as bizarre as that one, I think, when it's all said and done. So, yeah, this is important for conservatives to get out and vote. I want to thank you for your call.
Take care.
Take care. Okay, over the past week, there's been something that's been on the news quite a bit, and I wanted to talk about this a little bit from a Christian perspective as a pastor. but also how it's affecting us nationally. And that was the tragedy in Orlando, Florida. It was an act of terrorism. Let's not mix words. That's exactly what it was. It was an attack of radical Islam, and I think we need to stipulate more than just saying it was an act of terrorism. We need to point out that this was an act of radical Islamic
There's not a lot
nature.
of Baptists committing terrorism, just
No,
to clarify.
no. I will sit there and say there are Christians out there that I say give Christians a black eye. The Westboro Baptist
Oh my
Church, I will
gosh,
tell you,
absolutely.
I am totally not agreeing on how they
Well,
do
the
things.
Bible says you'll know them by their fruit,
Right.
and so that makes me have a lot of questions, more questions than them than answers about their Christianity.
Exactly, and people bring that up, and they'll say, well, we preach the Bible and everything else, but when you read that verse in Matthew where it says you'll know them by their fruit, they're comparing a good tree to a bad tree, and it says a good tree will produce good fruit, and a bad tree will produce bad fruit. And somebody who stands outside of a cemetery and attacks a family who just lost a son in the military, I would say is not good fruit. But so that's where the extent of where Christians go today is in a bad way. But Islam in a bad way goes to murder. And this is exactly what happened in Orlando, and this is something that cannot be condoned by anyone, the taking of lives. We as Christians, we may not agree with the homosexual lifestyle. We may actually sit there and live on the Bible where it says that it's a sin. But we are also told to love. And we are to love everyone, and without exception. Even the Islamic radical terrorist, we are to love. And that gets hard sometimes. And I'll share a story with that.
Especially for me, I'm like, I hate those guys.
No. You see, you can't. You got to
I
love
don't
it.
hate them. Yeah, I know.
It says that you love your enemies, is
I
what our Lord
know,
tells us.
I know.
And so, but this is a definite act of terrorism. And I wanted to read a book. And now this book, I strongly suggest to everyone out there. It's called The Truth Behind the Headlines, The Unholy War, America, Israel, and Radical Islam. It's written by actually by an archaeologist whose dig sites I've been on, and actually he's starting a new dig site out in Qumran. His name is Randall Price, and he wrote just after the attack. I want you to understand, he wrote this before ISIS. He writes, from the American point of view, the war with terrorism has nothing to do with religion, and it is not a war with Islam. However, from the Islamic viewpoint, it is all about religion, and every radical Muslim spokesman refers to the war as an attack on their religion. As soon as the United States began to respond to the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, numerous Islamic websites on the internet featured anti-American slogans such as World War III, Islam at war with the USA. While the United States has proclaimed the war is on terrorism and not on Islam, Osama bin Laden has stated they came out fighting Islam with the name of fighting terrorism. And Osama said that on October 7th, 2001, just shortly after it. So he even recognized that we're saying it's a war on terrorism. He's saying, no, this is their war on Islam, their religion. If bin Laden is right and the United States is at war, he continues to write, with Islam, then there are many other races, religions, and nations around the world. Even while the terrorists were attacking America, radical Islams in northern Nigeria were killing Christians in the city of Jos after the Nigerian government imposed Sharia law on its majority Christian population. The violence included 3 days of mass murders and the burning of churches. Radical Muslims are likewise engaging in a holy war against Coptic Christians in Egypt, Hindus in Kashmir, Baha'is in Iran, Catholics in southern Philippines, and Christians in East Timor. For the past 18 years, a particularly vivid example of external jihad has been demonstrated in Sudan for the entire world to see. The Sudanese government in northern Sudan imposed a genocidal policy of Islamization and Arabization of the African people in the south part of the country, forcing them to convert to Islam or suffer massacres, mutilations, gang rapes, bombings, pillaging, blockades, and humiliation, as well as humanitarian aid being blocked, and slavery. For this reason, the Coalition for the Defense of Human Rights, an organization supporting those persecuted by militant Islam, states that radical Islamism is a world ideology, fielding a world terror army, which oppresses millions with racist ideology that deems non-Muslims less than fully human. And then Professor Price
Wham! Talk 1600.
Hey, my blood brothers of freedom. This is Ted Nugent.
Southeast Michigan's conservative powerhouse.
God bless Ann Arbor and Wham Radio. I started doing interviews on Wham Radio around 1966. I celebrate and promote the God-given individual right as guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, for us to defend ourselves, to keep and bear arms. And just to make sure everyone understands what we the people understand, keep can only mean one thing. That's it's mine and you can't have it.
Wham!
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Investigators looking into last Sunday's deadly nightclub shooting in Orlando are poring over surveillance video for more clues about gunman Omar Martin.
They have also interviewed at least one member of the mosque where the killer attended in Florida, and they're checking on his finances too, including the fact that he put his wife, now his widow, on his insurance and his bank accounts in the run-up to this attack.
Fox's Steve Harrigan. Hot and dry conditions continue to fuel Arizona's Cedar Fire, hampering firefighters' efforts. John Pearson of the Timber West Mesa Fire Medical Department says high temperatures are expected through Monday, but there is hope.
Then we may see a little bit of a cooling trend, at least some slight increases in RHs or relative humidities, and that will be in our favor for sure.
Big wildfires also burning in Santa Barbara County, California, and near Albuquerque, New Mexico. Fox News, we report, you decide.
It's time now for Wham! Talk 1600's Community Calendar with Brandon Drake.
You be the judge of the Wayne County Circuit Court candidates at the Plymouth Community Forum Monday, June 27th. The location is Plymouth District Library, 223 South Main Street in Plymouth, and it'll take place from 7 to 8:45 p.m. The Plymouth Community Forum is a nonpartisan, non-biased group dedicated to providing a fair representation of topics concerning the Plymouth community. You can learn more by emailing arne.pcf@gmail.com. The Washtenaw County Vietnam Veterans Association Chapter 310 is inviting service members, veterans, their families, and loved ones to attend a 4th of July celebration at 2 p.m. on July 4th on the grounds of the Ypsilanti Township Civic Center near the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, 7200 South Huron River Drive in Ypsilanti. This event is open to veterans of all ages, branches of service, and all periods of service. It is also open to those currently serving and to those who serve the nation by supporting those who are or who have been in military uniform. A picnic lunch with beverages, yard games for all ages, face painting, musical entertainment, and a bonfire with s'mores will be provided. Note that no fireworks will be used or allowed on the property to protect those who may still be sensitive to loud noises. Bring your picnic blanket and or yard chairs and get ready for some good old-fashioned fun. For more information, call 734-260-2211. To review these events and others, you can always visit Wham's website at www.whamradio.com and click on Community Events.
You've been listening to the Wham! Community Calendar. To have your event publicized, email community@whamradio.com or write to Brandon Drake, COWAAM, 4230 Packard Road, Ann Arbor, 48108.
Dr. Michael Singleton offers family dentistry you can trust with over 20 years of experience in all areas of dentistry. Multiple ways to enhance your smile, from simple whitening to complete veneers, same-day crowns, laser cavity detection, preventative, restorative, and advanced cosmetic dentistry. It's tomorrow's dentistry today. Open Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. with late evening hours to fit your schedule. Contact Dr. Michael Singleton at 1081 North Ann Arbor Street in Saline, Michigan, or call 734-429-7415 or visit them on the web at singletonsmiles.com.
Don't miss London Calling with your host, Dan Martin.
I'll play the best of the original British invasion and beyond.
Everybody go dance around tonight.
Hi, I'm Dan Martin.
He said he had some songs to play. There's one life and there's no return and no deposit.
London Calling, Saturday night at 10.
On Wham!
You're listening to The Drift on Wham! Talk 1600. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. Now, back to your host, Gary Wellings.
It's Pastor Dietering. We're back. I am sorry I read right into that break. I'm using the hand-me-down earphones of the Wham Wham studio, and I couldn't hear the music leading into the break, and my eyes were on the page I was reading from and not on the on-air thing, so I read right into it. Professor Price finishes that whole statement